Hi, everyone, and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about headstand, and I'm going to give you a drill that you can practice to help build your strength so that you can float up into headstand in a safe and sustainable way. My name is Christina. I'm the founder of Soul Thrive Yoga, and we are passionate at Soul Thrive of helping others through the wisdom of yoga to transform their lives, not only on the mat, but also off the mat. All of us here, all of the teachers, we've all been transformed through yoga, and so we're passionate about sharing that with everyone else. So headstand, one of the key points of headstand, there's a lot with headstand. So please, make sure that you're practicing this with a teacher, make sure you have some guidance, make sure that you're strong enough to lift up into it safely. It's not for everyone. If you've ever had a stroke, if you have a neck injury, it's not something that we want to do. And you also never want to kick up into headstand. We want to be able to float. And so that's what I'd like to share with you today. The floating up, of course, takes some core strength, and we have to build up that core strength, right? So I'm going to share a drill with you today that you could practice in order to help you build up that core strength, and also share a tip about what to think about. A lot of times when we're trying to lift up into headstand, we think about lifting the legs, and that's actually not what we want to think about. We want to think about lifting the tailbone. I'll show you what I mean. So headstand, there's a lot of different setups for your arms. I'm not going to go into that today. More so, I'm just talking about how to lift the tailbone so that you can lift the legs up and how to build that strength. So again, work with a teacher to figure out which foundation setup is right for you. You'll find your headstand here. And if you notice, my tailbone is tucking this direction, right? With my tailbone pointing this direction, my femur has to come down. So if I tried to lift my legs here, but I didn't move my tailbone or my pelvis, I would not be able to get them up. What I have to do is get my pelvis stacked over my shoulder girdle. I have to lift the tailbone, and that's where that core strength comes in. So if you were playing with headstand, you could practice here and really work on lifting the tailbone. So again, watch my tailbone here. It's going to go this way. It's lifting up. Now don't think about my feet. Think about the tailbone. My tailbone, that's all core. The feet have to lift up once the tailbone lifts up high enough. So if you just play with lifting the tailbone there, lengthening the spine, and then of course, if you're working with the full one, once you bring the knees onto the arms, if you're doing this variation, again, your tailbone is tucked and pointed towards the side wall. You want to think about lifting the tailbone. If you lift the tailbone and stack the pelvis over the shoulders, the legs will lift up. So it's all about this movement. So the drill that you want to try, the first one is with the feet on the floor, lifting the tailbone, seeing if you can get the heels to lift, but not by doing it in the foot, by doing it with the tailbone. So that's one. The other drill you can try is with the legs on a wall. So we're going to walk the feet up the wall. And this one you can do on the top of your head, but you could also do it with your arms straight. Either way, you're building the strength. The benefit with doing arms straight is it's less time on the top of your head, but also you need some arm and shoulder strength. So if you're working towards a handstand, this could be helpful as well. If you're doing this version, what you want to do is place your heels against a wall. Measure where you're sitting, your sits bones, those bony bits of your pelvis. Measure where those are. Put the heel of your hand there and turn around. Now the heel of my hand will go here if I'm doing arms straight, or if I'm doing head on the floor, the head, the very top of your head, will go there. And it's going to feel like you're too close to the wall. It's going to feel like you're tipping over, but you're not. You're going to have to walk the feet up. And again, if you notice, my tailbone is going to be pointing towards the wall. What I want to try to do, and this is where the strength comes in, is lift the tailbone. So we'll be kind of in this rounded shape. We want to lift the tailbone. When you lift the tailbone, stack the pelvis over the shoulders, the leg comes along for the ride. And you can play, of course, with one leg and then the other, but more so it's just the drill of lift the tailbone. Lift the tailbone. That's all core strength. And that is how you float up. You have to lift the tailbone, then the legs will come along for the ride. If you try to think about just lifting the legs without moving the pelvis, you'll never get there. So try it out. Let me know how it goes. Please move slowly and safely. Challenge yourself, of course. If there's fear there, notice that, observe it. How can we move through it in a healthy way? But also know that fear is a valid emotion and sometimes it's coming up to protect us. So make sure that you're ready to challenge that fear if you give it a shot. And if you're not ready to try it, if you don't have the core strength or the neck strength, build that up slowly before you start diving into these more advanced postures. If you have any questions, let me know.